to quickly introduce our next speaker to you so that we can continue to be drawing from their wealth of knowledge and
Recording in progress.
okay. Our next speaker is my own mentor from India, Professor Dr. TPS Sasikuma, and he will be sharing with us on how to improve communication, because I know we are communicating every day, especially in the area of relationship, marriage, and family. But maybe we might need to improve ourselves to avoid so many misunderstandings and assumptions and other things, to even avoid violence and abuse and other issues around the relationship. And that is why I keep on bringing my mentor to come over to come and share with us. You might be listening to him before, but I can guarantee you that today is going to be a new thing for him to share with us, because it's full of wisdom, knowledge, and experience. So let me tell you a little bit, although he won't allow me to go through all my slides, but I will show it even if he's not allowing me to speak too much on introducing himself. Professor Dr. TPS Sasikuma from India is a life mentor, space scientist, science communicator, poet, author. Okay. Poet, author, and motivational speaker, educationist, psychological life, career counseling, an expert, imaging building, peak performance coach, spiritual master with Himalayan tradition, conscious living associate, exponent on Indian heritage, philosophy, and many more. Gita. So far, since 2000, for the past 22 years, reached to more than 1 million each. Teachers, parents, and students. I believe you now understand and know the meaning of TPS. Teachers, parents, and students, because these are the people that really, that my professor is really helping out, supporting them, teaching them, and also giving them a better understanding. Hundreds of interviews on TV and media. Also discover TV with Kumba Mela Talk, acting in short films, TEDx Talk, UNESCO Talk, and Bhagavad Gita classes. Workshops and residential campus for 1,048 hours non-stop classes, 6,500 students in a section for 6 hours, 50,000 public and 1,200 big tech in section, and so many. Like I've said, I will not be able to read more of his, just based on his own way of doing things. Just want to go straight to the point. But if you want to get in touch with him, because many people keep asking me, so this is the link: www.drtps/shiksa.in. If you want to also email him, you can also get it from DrTPSASIKUMAR together at gmail.com. So these are all the profile of my mentor, Professor TPS. I will still show it, even though I'm not going to talk much about it. Okay. Professor TPS.
Namaste. Thank you.
What do you have for us today? How are you, sir?
We have heavy rain in my place all around this.
In India.
In
Your
India,
area.
I am in center of India, Hyderabad.
Wow.
Heavy rain in my village. It's another state. Another 1,000 kilometers away, there also heavy rain. And it is actually the peak of summer, 43, 44 degree temperature, and heavy rain again. So I hope electricity won't trouble us. Thank you, my sister, Professor Dr. Queen Elizabeth Lucas.
Yes. Thank you so
YYCA
much.
always takes up a lot of new vistas of same topic. I'm not saying new topics, new different vistas and different directions, different panoramic view, look from different angle, see how a relationship matters. In relationship, one of the most important factor is communication, and how to improve communication. It's very, very simple, but practically not happening in most of the places. Either it is personal or professional life. Communication have two aspects. One is personal and another one is professional. And maybe if you want little more, that can be social communication, because today social media is too active. The way you are communicating in professional should not be the way you are communicating in social media. The way you are communicating in social and professional media should not be the way that you are communicating in your personal life. So understand the difference between personal, professional, and social media. This is what is externally happening. But much more important is to improve your own internal communication. When I am seeing, my eye is seeing, and it communicates to my brain to get knowledge about it, communicates to my heart to get a feeling about it. These conflict is a big communication gap. It's a big difference. The food is tasty. Yeah, taste is a feeling. It doesn't look good. It's the eye which says. It doesn't smell. It's the nose says. It doesn't taste well. The tongue says. Oh, it's too hot. The feeling of touching the skin will tell. The music is wonderful, but the musician doesn't look good. Ear contradicting to the eyes. So the contrasts, contradictions in communication, lot of confusions. So it's me, within me, the inside me, who should make things clear for me. The art of clear communication. If somebody wanted to mention it in maybe in a very theoretical style, we talk about the clarity, being very, very precise, concise, the concise way of presenting, crisp, clear, clarity. I keep saying C, crisp, clear, clarity, concise. Very, very important. Whatever I am supposed to tell, put it in a language which is really understandable with the minimum distance in the words which I am using. It should not be like shouting. Why should I shout? I can speak. I can be mild. Why should I be like scolding? A lecture cannot be like scolding people, right? Why do you want to raise voice to the top? Not required. The real listeners will listen to you. I am doing it in this sound because I am recording it. I have to have that medium. But when I am somebody very close to me, I may use half of this sound to talk to them. Avoid all the jargons, unnecessary complexity. Using language which cannot be understood by somebody else. Show that I have got a lot of knowledge. And these days, most of the lectures I'm so pathetic to see people dump it from the internet, use a lot of PowerPoint from here and there, grab it. They are not even able to understand what they are speaking. They don't even know what they read. Use a lot of jargons. It's called jargons. It's waste. Not necessary. You don't have to make your class very complex. Simple. Life is always simple. I love to be simple because we are all by birth simple. Life becomes so simple when you don't unwantedly make up yourself to show that you are a big person. You are not big. By birth, all of us are small. And by death, we are going to be small. That's why my book called Life Made Simple. This is a book from social media which I'm showing you now. Life Made Simple. Life can be simple. How do you show I'm a simple person? When I use my language is simple. The way I present myself is simple. With a lot of clarity, with not putting a lot of sophistication in my life. That communicates. The way you look at people, you understand whether this person is a complex person or a simple person. So your appearance, the style in which you speak, unnecessarily don't complicate things by adding all that unrelated things. Before communication, I must have communication is that comes from me. I must have an idea about my goal. End of this lecture, what am I going to achieve? There has to be an objective. So most important in communication, there has to be an objective and scope. That is what we do when I wanted to write an essay. I want to write an article. I want to write a book. I want to talk to somebody. I want to give a lecture. I want to meet somebody. Personally, I am going and meeting. There is an objective and scope. Why am I going and how much importance I have? What am I going to do? Establish your goal with a lot of objective and scope added to every activity which you do. What is that I want to achieve? What do I gain? What do that person gain? What is his achievement? What is my achievement? Goal has to be both sides. My goal is not important. When I talk to somebody, the goal of those listeners, I must satisfy them. So your tailor-made message, very precise, to the point, in a language which other person understands. It's very clear. I am using English, but this is not my mother tongue. This is an English which I captured by my academics, not by practice. I did not stay in a place of English speaking people. The people around me speak a different language. Today morning I was talking to children, young children from a government school in a different village. I am online. I was talking to them, not my mother tongue, not English. Little bit of English, little bit of their mother tongue. Not my mother tongue. The audience must be able to, the listeners, they must be able to understand what I am speaking. So what did I do? They don't speak good English. So I picked up little bit English, little bit of their mother tongue, mix them together and make them to repeat. Whatever I am saying, I ask them, repeat it once again. Let me check whether you understood or not. When I was invited for talk today, somebody was telling, give me an evaluation. How did they perform? I said, what they perform is not important. What I do is more important. Whether they are able to understand, capture, repeat what I spoke. If that is possible, my communication is correct. So it is not, examination is not testing my students. Examination is testing me. As a teacher, whether I am able to communicate well. If I am able to communicate well, all my students will do well. If one student is doing well, rest of them are not doing, that means that student is good, but I am not good. So as a teacher, as a speaker, all my audiences are able to get along with me, understand what I'm speaking. Active listening, not blah 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 without a interaction. So today what I did, every student wanted to talk to me, get a chance, raise hand, the mic goes to them and they speak. So active listening. There are a lot of training programs required for people to in communication. Communication is little more formal, like the lecture is a communication. But if somebody has to be part of the discussion, somebody has to be very active in listening, it cannot be a communication. Actually that is called conversation. So myself is in conversation with my sister Prof.Dr.Queen.Elizabeth. While conversation, if you just listen without even responding, the person who is in conversation will get bored. So what is required? So the person who is listening must tell, good, I understood, I agree, I don't agree. Yeah, will you be able to make it more clear? These sort of interaction is what is called active listening. So in a conversation, somebody can be an active listener. But now the lecture, I don't have audience in front of me. I'm only seeing one person. And my job is communication. But what am I going to do now? Or what I have done so far? I am taking the style of a conversation and putting in the communication format. That is why each person who is listening will see, I am talking to you. I am not giving a lecture. I am casually talking to each one of the listeners. So I can have a communication in a style of conversation which will be more better and appealing. Though you are not giving answer, but inside you, you are saying, I don't agree, I agree. So sometimes a communication is too formal, but in a class like this, I don't think we have to be so formal. We can be little informal. So that is why I always try to put my lectures, my interactive classes. I don't talk about communication, I talk about conversational classes. But a format of communication is required because a topic is given and I am dealing that topic for 1 hour or half an hour. In conversation, what will happen? I will keep changing my subject. Assume that I am talking to you about the weather and I understand my sister is not that much worried about weather. Immediately I will say, how last class, how what happened? No, that is nothing to do with the weather. I am shifting my subject from one to another, and that is possible in an informal conversation. In a communication, it is subject specific, topic specific. I have an objective and scope. As I mentioned, there is an objective and scope. There has to be very specific audience. A topic is given. In conversation, no topic is given. I go as a guest to my friend. I am talking to them over a cup of tea and I keep changing the topic. It may be about American politics, or it can be the European Union, Georgia is joining or not, whether there is a war going to happen there, whether Russia is going to attack Georgia after Ukraine, because there are a lot of things happening. And I found that my friend is not interested in that. Immediately I will say, how is the stock market happening? I can shift my subject to subject. That is called conversation. That is why communication is very formal, but you can add a little bit of taste of conversation so that it becomes so much interesting and appealing to people. And many people keep talking about the non-verbal body language, but I don't think that is very much important, because unnecessarily people, it is so natural. Definitely you can look at me, I keep using my hands, I keep looking at my face expressions, eyebrow goes up and down. I am not doing a dance, I am not doing a drama. So you don't speak like this, like a statue. If you speak like a statue, that means you are not using your only verbal communication without no non-verbal. But little bit of actions, little bit of involvement, little bit of anxiety, little bit of fear, little bit of fun, little bit of happiness. Everything has to be in the way you speak. So most important is, these are much important only when people are in front of you and you have an eye to eye contact. Assume that I am giving a broadcast, only audio is there. I am sure none of your body language is important. And you can see in radio, which is only a hearing aid, there are drama happening. Drama is a stage platform in which somebody has to act. But action is shown only by listening. Why? Because the listener is able to imagine from the sound. If somebody is acting like crying, immediately you are seeing, oh, the child is crying, the mother is running and taking the baby. That sound is good enough for you to visualize. So sometimes the visualization comes not by seeing, but more by hearing. You don't even have to see people to get visualization. So what is meaning of non-verbal? Non-verbal doesn't mean somebody is acting on the stage and speaking with his eyebrow going up and down. Your imagination of how the facial expression goes from the sound, if you can imagine that, you are a great speaker. And that is how communication happens in drama. Communication happens in drama wherein only audio is given, but not the video is in front of you. So there are a lot of difference in communication which people have to understand. It only means the listener must get engaged. The word engaged is more important. The listener must have the background of what is happening around. Otherwise, definitely they will not be able to get any subject. So the level of the listener, the knowledge of the listener, the interest in the listener, that means the audience have to be good. Who is listening to me? They should have minimum knowledge. They should have sufficient language skill. Suppose you don't understand English and you are listening to my lecture, the whole action looks like only a drama without a sound for him. In muted form also he can listen. It doesn't make any sense to him, right? Not everybody understands language. So what happens? He will not be able to listen. He is only hearing. The hearing is only sound. Listening is understanding the meaning of the sound. And then they become engaged. They are able to visualize. Communication becomes great only when you can visualize. When I say that the rain and the thunder, lightning, thunder, rain around Hyderabad, I immediately said Hyderabad in center of India. Suppose you are not able to see the map of India, how do you know where is center of India? And when I am saying rain, a person who has never seen a rain, never heard a thunderstorm, never has visualized a lightning, I'm sure he will not be able to understand anything. So when I say the word, when I say pizza, a person who has seen a pizza will understand what pizza is. But a person who has not seen a pizza will look at it and say, what is he saying? Got it? So the right channel, it can be language, it can be the action, it can be the knowledge of the person listening. You understand their culture, understand their behavior, everything is must. In India, we keep saying the footwear shoes which we generally use for casual wear is called chappal. But I remember when I went to America to give a talk, I found that I should not use the word chapel because there is a misunderstanding. It is chapel. Chapel is a place of prayer, but I am referring to somebody like a slipper, footwear. That word I can use. which
Even
is
that is what I also want to take the chapel. Even here you use chapel, so you're using your footwear as.
yeah. So what we do is we wear chappal when in the home, and we have another chappal for going out. If I tell this to somebody who don't know what is the word chappal, they will think why they should have a church in place and somebody has to go in and out, right? So the culture, the language, the words, it all matters geographically, who is using and to whom I am saying. If in India, when I speak, I use the word footwear, they will think why this man is no acting like a great man, like who is coming from another world. He is one among us. Why can't he use the word chappal? He will say, no. Understood? So this matters a lot. Sometimes what happens is you can see a lot of signboards. Each signboard is giving a message. You have red light, that means don't go. Green light, that means go. Orange light, which says you have to be caution. No, it's not just don't go very fast. Look both sides and then go. Assume that I am from a village where I never have seen a signal light, and I come to the center of city in UK, London, and see a lot of light. What do I understand? I will still drive when there is a red light because I have never educated on that, right? So similarly, when in some country, when I show my light, it means I am in urgency. In some country, when I show light, that shows I am slow. You can walk over me. So there are different patterns of communication. Even a light is also to communicate to you something. If you don't understand that light communicating to you, you will be in confusion. Assume there is a leg drawn and then a cross mark. Does it mean that you should not cross there? Yeah, by some chance assume that it is only a leg shown but without a footwear. Then somebody will think, yeah, you should not walk barefooted. You should always shoes. You should wear shoes, then only walk, right? But the communicator thought don't walk. But you took it as don't walk in barefoot, you should have a shoes. Now assume that you draw a shoes and then put a cross. People will say, now you should not walk with shoes, you should remove shoes, then only walk. Correct? So the channel of communication, the picture also doesn't tell you all that. The culture of the people will tell you how the communication is effective. Assume that my class is not understanding by other people, that doesn't mean I am a bad communicator. It only means I am talking to somebody who don't understand my language, who don't understand my culture. So what I should do? Improving my communication means understanding others' culture, understanding others' language. The way I speak, the speed need to be controlled because I know my English is entirely different from somebody's English. Now, most important, we are in a world of social media. Many people doesn't know how to communicate in the social media. Facebook communication for some purposes, WhatsApp communication for some other purpose. You have to call for some purposes, email for some purposes. Where what is to be used? Assume that I send an email, I have no method to take it back. I send a Gmail to somebody, it is gone from my hand. I cannot say, oh, I cannot delete it. If I send a WhatsApp until the other person see, if other person doesn't even look at it, I can edit it. I can delete it. Understood? So, look at what is to be done in communication. In the normal social media, email, message, WhatsApp, lot of people don't even read the message. They will just do like this, thumbs up. What does it mean? Suppose you send a message that somebody died, immediately the other fellow does like this. They don't even read. We have family groups in WhatsApp. You are sending message, somebody expired yesterday, and then we are in grief. What does it mean? And assume that somebody out of your group, they are not within your group, but somebody outside the group who is connected to you but not in the group. They got an award. What is the point in saying congratulations? It is you to take his number and send it to him directly. See, most of the time, what happens is the group is so filled with unwanted message where the receiver, congratulations should go to me. I am nowhere related to any of his achievements. I was only passing a message, so and so got this. Right? What is the point in telling that somebody, like a leader of a nation, died, and I am putting that in my WhatsApp group? What is the point in telling that all my messages there? Nobody is going to read that. But assume that I put that in the social media like Facebook and then open that message to the public. I'm sure many people will read. So my audience, whether it is limited to my family, limited to my people whom I know, or I wanted to make it open. Write a blog if it is too large. Don't write it in a WhatsApp message. I want to give my speech. Don't put that video onto my WhatsApp because it's going to, most of the people don't even know how to use it. By the time they see, it gets downloaded in the phone, and the phone gets hanging after some time because you are unnecessarily downloading. These are all part of communication. Because you don't know how to listen to somebody's talk. It can be audio, it can be video, it can be images. I get thousands of messages. None of them get downloaded. None. I have set my settings in my settings I have kept. Nothing will be downloaded. So my phone is always free. Never used for any loading of somebody's messages. Otherwise, how do I manage with the lakhs of numbers here? And I wanted to communicate to somebody. I keep lot of tags. I know Prof.Dr.Queen.Elizabeth Lucas, YYCI, UK, London. All these will become the name part of it. Therefore, very easy for me to pick up that number. If I don't remember somebody's name, if I know, oh, he is from London, just type in London, I get 10 names. This is the name. I can catch it. So communication is not just blah, 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 blur. Actually, your phone communicates to you. I am able to pick up the information what I want exactly from that. When I read a book, the book is communicating to me. The title communicates to me. The title has to be very clear. So writing is a great communication. When I write the book Life of Love, life is involved, love is involved. And this is the poetry book. So when I read the title of the poetry, immediately I must know, this is what the poet is going to tell me. So the book communicates to me. It's very, very essential to understand whether I am in email, whether I am in WhatsApp, whether I am in social media, whether I am in a book, whether I am in audio book, whether I am hearing on a YouTube. Assume that the lecture is so slow. See, for example, my lecture is so slow today. But when I speak to somebody who is in a college, in the culture, in the situation where I am living, the speed in which I speak is much faster. So what do? When somebody talks in this speed, I will play my YouTube with 3x. So I can finish 1.5 lecture in half an hour lecture. I can save my time because I am able to capture much faster. Got it? So these are all very, very essential. Addressing people by name. Once upon a time when the British was ruling, Lord, Majesty, Sir Isaac Newton, Sir C.V. Raman, Sir Mountbatten. They're all a title given to somebody to prefix with their name. So today, the title itself is not there. The British Queen, they have taken out the title Sir. Sir is a great title. Once upon a time, during the Commonwealth, the world was under British. Sir title was given to great personalities. We had great engineers in India with a Sir title. We had great poets in India, Sir title. Scientists in India by Sir title. Now today, what do? Everybody on the road, you keep calling them Sir, 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 Sir. Why are you calling somebody Sir? Because you don't know his name. Suppose you know his name, what do? You call him Dr. TPS. I will not call Professor Dr. Queen.Elizabeth as Madam. I don't remember your name, I am calling Madam. If somebody is calling you Madam, understand they don't know your name. Got it? So, if they call my sister Elizabeth, if I don't know your name also, I can call sister. That's another method. Right? But if I call by name, I'm sure everybody loves their name. Who doesn't love their name, you tell me? Otherwise, if you don't love your name, change your name. But your name is what you wanted to hear many times. So address people with name. In British, probably it is still accepted. But America, if you call somebody sir and who is a professor, they don't like. Because sir is common. Professor is a bigger title. Doctor is a smaller title. So one, you can be a professor without doctor. So professor, doctor means you are giving the best title. Suppose you call a professor as sir, you also call the superintendent clerk who is working under him also is sir. You are not giving a bigger title to somebody. Suppose there is a doctor who is a medical doctor, you don't call him as sir, you should call him doctor. You don't call an advocate as sir. Advocate is an advocate. So you call him advocate, Mr. Advocate, if you don't know his name. If you know the name, ask him. Call him as Advocate John. See, these are all the professional practices. So formal, personal. I can call my sister. But I am not supposed to call my boss as sister and my subordinate as my sister or brother. I should call by name or by designation. So I am in an official discussion. I must call somebody who is a military person. I should call him as brigadier. But assume somebody is a brigadier. I should not address him as a lower rank. They will throw you out. So you should know what is his rank and call him by that. You cannot call a president as sir. President is a president. Justice is a justice. Understood? So the practice of your professional communication, very active. Formal communication, informal communication, I have given sufficient examples. Mind your tone. Sometimes you will have to be very, very harsh. Suppose somebody doesn't listen to you. What do? You will have to raise your voice. But also you must know how not to raise your voice. Sometimes not speaking gives a lot of communication. Assume that you are meeting somebody whose close relative died. You don't have to tell him something. Just a touch is good enough. Right? You don't have to bless him by saying blessing. A hand on his head is good enough. So sometimes your touch gives a lot of communication. Suppose you wanted to show love to your wife or a husband. You don't have to talk to him, I love you. One touch is good enough. One look is good enough. Assume that you are in a party and somebody is speaking something which is not acceptable to you. You don't have to tell him shut up. You just look at him, he understands what do you mean. A look is good enough. An eye is good enough. Suppose you want to care somebody, looking at them is good enough. A smile is good enough. So your expression matters a lot. Sometimes expression communicates much more than the words. Sometimes you don't get words, but sometimes expressions are good enough. So verbal, non-verbal, don't think that it is only acting. Any expression is also non-verbal. That expression has more meaning than communicating with words. And sometimes you should be having a lot of patience. Suppose you don't understand, you can always ask, I am not able to follow what you're saying. May I repeat, please, right? Suppose I am asking somebody's name. You are not able to pronounce my name. I am saying, what's your name? I said, Shashi Kumar. No, please repeat it again. I am again saying Shashi Kumar. No, I should not tell 3 times or 4 times my name. Only 2 times I can tell name. The third time, if you don't follow, I must spell it Sasikkumar. Spell your name. Spell the word. If I am not able to explain you how briefly you should speak, now somebody says I am not able to follow what you are saying, I must say briefly, briefly, because that's a word which I thought somebody is not able to follow. So use spelling, because we are communicating in English. To improve communication, you must spell the words when you are using it first time. Last time in the beginning when I said concise, CON, I should tell concise spelling. No? Otherwise somebody may not understand. They must be hearing first time. So your words have to be concise. CONCISE, concise. Suppose you don't understand what is concise, you can write that word because I am telling you the sentence, the words, the spelling. Then later you can refer it. Otherwise, what will happen? You listen to that 3 times, 4 times, the word concise, concise. You don't be able to understand what is that this man is saying. So it's more important sometimes to be very, very clear. Clarity is important. So practice these methods in everyday communication. And I'm sure many people have done. Harmony has to be there. You must understand the other party, mindfulness, pleasure in communication, interpersonal relationship, the communication importance in many things. All these are part of it. But I am only given the topic improving communication. In between all these matters. So I have covered most of the topics, I think, or if you have something very specific, I will be able to. I'm sure when people talk about communication, they say compassion, empathy, but I have covered it in a different way, saying that words are not required. One look is good enough. One pat is good enough. When I say don't worry, on pat on the shoulder and say don't worry. When I hold somebody's hand and say I am with you, that's a great communication, when I meet somebody who lost something in their life, I don't say, yeah, don't worry. Everybody has to worry. So what do I say? Hold the hand and say, I am with you. That word, I am with you, is a great communication. So what to communicate? And if I say, I am with you, that doesn't make a sense. I have to hold his hand. And that holding hand is a great communication. Correct? So it all matters with the tradition. Some place you can hold hand, some place you cannot hold hand. Do it in my culture, but you cannot do it in some other culture. Whether you see, when I was teaching MBA, the Master of Business Administration, we talk about advertisements. Advertisements communicates a lot. The product is being shown to you, and you understand this is the product which I have to buy. But if I don't understand the culture of some places, I may give an advertisement, it will become a wrong communication. Because the ring which you used as a wedding ring, in some country it is in some hand, in some other country it's some other hand. Understood? So I should be very careful in which advertisement I am showing for Indian, which advertisement I am showing for some other country. I must be very careful. Assume that I am showing a very specific dress as an advertisement. Assume that I am showing it in a country where it is not admissible. It can be a crime which I am doing. So sometimes a communication which is an advertisement also can be a big crime. Got it? So you must understand, that is where I mentioned the culture. So how do you improve? Understand the culture. When I mean understand the culture to improve your communication, this means great a lot. I can explain it further when there are questions. So I am telling you what I had in mind, what is my objective and scope. So how do you contemplate? How do you understand? How do you reflect? How do you go deeper and deeper to understand? Depends on how much you can communicate back. That's what is called reflection, response. When I am talking, there is a response, means you ask questions. Reflection means, oh, this is how I understood, tell me whether it is clear or not. Your clarification. Sometimes you become silent listener, that means you are not becoming part of it. You are not responding, you are not communicating, you are not reflecting. So the points just goes bounce, not as a bonus point. When you ask question, it becomes a bonus point. When you don't ask, it becomes bounce. It just goes on top, superficial, nothing goes inside. So understand, in Buddhism there is a culture, Taoism there is a culture, Hinduism, there is a culture, and people have to mix together. Western, there is a culture. Eastern, there is a culture. So the communication styles differ from west to east. And all these, if you understand, you can improve your communication. Only that comes when you travel. I extensively travel. I've spent a lot of time in America. I've been traveling to Europe. I've been in the end of the world. Probably the Indian Ocean ends, the Pacific Ocean starts. There is a small island called Fiji. I lived there a few days. I go to all the Gulf countries. So you travel a lot. I'm sure you have to communicate and you learn different culture. So how to improve communication? One, travel a lot. But assume you are not that rich, you cannot travel a lot, you cannot learn. What is the other method? See movies. Movie is one great knowledge. Documentaries. Dr. TPS spends a lot of time in seeing different movies of the world. I see movies created in different parts of the world. If I had to go to North India where they speak Hindi, I keep looking at Hindi movie most of the time so that I don't use some words which they don't appreciate. I know how I have to change my small style of dealing with people, and that training is given by cinema, movie, documentaries, listening to, because we are in a social media today. Everything is available. And you can translate, you can learn pronunciation. A lot of gadgets are there. Understand the meaning. There are a lot of websites available. Wordhippo.com, one of the dictionary which I use online is wordhippo.com. WORDHIPPO. Wordhippo. When you use Wordhippo, you will know antonyms, synonyms, similar usage, pronunciation, all these different accent, all that can be learned. So this is how I wanted to tell you. I guess I have covered most of the areas around this. And if there are very specific questions, I'll be very glad as usual. Yeah. So thank you.
Oh,
Thank
wow.
you, my sister.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I see the other side of you. I'm now picking up. You know, sometimes when people are talking, that's the time you'll be reasoning of how they are communicating. You said something very important. Anytime I'm pouring my heart to my mentor, you know, those kind of, you are expecting a huge response, and he say, "I'm with you." How can you? Now I know now I understand now.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I pour something out. I want to know something. I want you to share your wisdom in this particular situation I found myself. And then the next thing, I'm with you. I'm thinking, what's Professor say? You're not even with me here. And how did I know that you understand what I've really, posed to you? But now I understand.
Now, sometimes what
And this,
happens is the person who don't have to tell me the things. I understand what are you going through.
okay.
I know what are you going through. I know when somebody communicates immediately, I'll say, yeah, this happened to you. We know this is what is happening because we know we attend a program, and I'm sure there will be some communication in some places. Then immediately, when you are silent, I know, yeah, this is what happened. So immediately, probably I must have sent it to you a message where you are silent also. I am with you, don't worry, because I know what's happening in some other place, right?
You're not psyche, are you?
Yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. Very interesting. You made some important points, sir, which is very important that even myself, I need to really meditate on it and take action. And made some, like, for example, naming. I'm trying my best, even though sometimes when I mention names during our conference or masterclass, I know I struggle, but I just want that person to feel comfortable, to feel welcome. But sometimes I don't pronounce it. I don't pronounce it well, and I've been trying to learn even that so that I can pronounce. I remember when you first started, when you first joined YYCI, Sati Kuma. I think I managed. I always yours is even better.
Yeah, that Dr.
At least
TPS, Dr. TPS is simpler. Dr. TPS,
yeah,
no. So,
So I started using Dr. TPS, TPS then, and then advanced myself to, well, Dr. TPS Asikuma. I got there in the end. So, like you said, we just have to have patience with one another,
Yeah,
because we have different cultures. And then we also have the way we pronounce things, pronunciation. The way you will pronounce it will be different because I have Nigerian African accent. Even though I live in UK, doesn't make me to have their accent. So the way we have pronounced something will be definitely different from the UK side or the India side. But the most important thing is when we break it down and make it simple for people, because I mean, like my professor TPS travels all over the place, which I haven't done that kind of thing, and he has met so many different people from different backgrounds and other things. Me, I'm still catching up, but the only thing I'm doing at the moment is just the Zoom side and other things like that. So, and I think it's very important to be patient with one another, because sometimes you can feel frustrated when you are trying to communicate, when you are trying to express yourself and the other person is not really in it. Maybe we put it this way: the other person is not in the same room with you. I mean, room, I'm not talking about the four
physical room.
corners.
Yeah,
Like the person is not in the same level. So maybe your own level has been either advanced or lower, something like that. And then the person you are talking to, maybe his or her own level is high and you are there. And then it's either the person is frustrated that you're not understanding, or you are also being frustrated that you're not understanding the person. So that is where the patience comes in, that we need to be patient with one another. But the culture is the most important thing, that I've really, really resonated with what you've said, because it's true. There are some things that I will pronounce, because I have some of my friends in my working place. They are from India. And then sometimes I say something, say, "Hmm?" I say, "Excuse me, why did you do that? Why did you react like that?" And then I say, "What you just said, if I tell you the meaning of it in in my country, you won't like it." I said, "Really? Then educate me." And then we should be willing. That is where we come out of your comfort zone. We should be willing to know other people's culture, so that we'll be mindful. Because you don't want to say some words, because are so powerful. They are like sword. You said it, it can beat somebody's heart. You said it, it can make somebody to commit suicide. You said it, you can make somebody to feel high. So that's why we need to be more mindful on that, which is very important. But I have a question for you, sir, today. The question of, wait a minute, somewhere, hold on a second. Now, you said something about, I want you to throw more light into communication and conversation. And even when you're saying that, where does open dialogue comes in, and discussion? I want you to throw light into communication
see,
and conversation. So
as
where do discussion and open dialogue falls into?
as the seminar or conference begins, before that, assume that we join 10 minutes before. What do we do? We'll ask you, how are you? How are you is a conversation. How do you do today? What's happening in UK? I spoke in the beginning that there is heavy rain, thunderstorm. That's nothing to do with the topic given to me for talking to today. So I started with a conversation.
Okay.
So any formal communication also can start with a conversation. So that you are saying that, no, I am very close to you. We can have very casual discussion. You can stop me anytime. Assume that I start with the topic, oh, this man is very strict. He is not that approachable man, right? So sometimes you conversation is very casual. It shows that you are with that person very closely. We can interact each other. So it is nice to have a conversation. You cannot have a PowerPoint for a conversation, right? Because it's not a structured one. Now, what did I do? If I come with a PowerPoint and then present you how to improve communication, that's a formal presentation. And that's a communication on improving communication. But today, what did I do? I took some example. I was jumping here and there. So it's like I'm not using any PowerPoint, but I'm using powerful points. I am using powerful points. And I'm making it so lively. I'm adding my passion. I'm adding your responses. I'm building upon what happened. I'm taking example of what happened just now, the discussion what we had. Just before the program, I started talking about rain, thunder, lightning, all that I added in my communication class. Assume that I come with a PowerPoint. Will I be able to add that then and there? I will not be able to do it. So I am taking the format of casual conversation in my class of communication. So people will accept it very fast. Assume I am in a class where I am talking to children. This weekend I am going to Delhi for a class where 4 days I am spending time with the teachers and students. They have to listen to me at least 6 hours, multiply 4 days, 24 hours. 24 hours constant class for them. I'm sure if I don't make it light, if I don't talk to them so much involvement, lot of activity, it's like a workshop. I cannot take a point and then say that no, this is how it should happen. It doesn't become, it becomes a class. It becomes a class, not a communication. So after a class, we have discussions. How do you do this? How are we going to make this happen? This becomes a conversation. I'm asking you something suggestion, right? And then you should respond to that. So conversation have got a, it's like an not one way, it becomes a two-way communication. Communication is always, that's why we said two-way communication. I communicate, you hear. You communicate, I hear. It becomes so formal. Conversation, I am ready, you tell me this is not right, yeah, let me look at it, let me listen to that, let me respond to that, let me reflect upon that. So it becomes a participative activity. Conversation is a participative activity. Communication need not be participative. You know, my sister, most of the time I love questions. That means
Yeah.
it is going to be participative. So I am a more of a conversational person than a communication person. I don't like to be in a format of putting this which somebody prepares or I prepare and then come here dump it on you. No, I want to look at your face and see whether you are listening to me, whether you are responding to me, whether you are accepting this, or I am ready to slightly modify it. Okay. That should be the way people have to. That is how informal. I would like to be more informal than formal. Probably that is the reason. But assume that I have to go to a function where inauguration has to happen, and I have got a text given which I am supposed to read. I am supposed to welcome somebody else. That's a formal communication. Yeah.
Understand it better
Yeah.
because sometimes we mix things together. We mix it. I mean, that is why you've seen that for the past 3 years, we've tried, especially our conference, our leadership conference, because I know that all our leaders, yes, they are full of knowledge, they are full of wisdom. You understand, and we want it to be like, because we've come to realize that sometimes you gain knowledge, you gain every knowledge, but it doesn't connect.
Correct.
It doesn't connect with you because you were. It's like, I mean, maybe you've mentioned it before. It's like downloading a message
Downloading the
and
message.
then offloading it again. But if you talk from your heart, because that is how I've been trained,
Yeah.
that because I went through all this speaking training. If you speak from your heart,
Heart. It goes into the heart of
it
the people.
it goes into the heart of the people, and they can gain that message. I mean, they can understand that message better.
Yes.
I need to go. I got a little clap there. I'm learning. I'm just clarifying what you taught us. I know I represent millions of people in front of you. Even Dr. Stephen Cameron is here. Thank you so much for joining us. And I know that so many people are commenting on Facebook. And I know that this is not only just in a four walls corner. This video will go everywhere I go to. Every corner, every group for people to listen. Okay, so that's by the wayside. What about when we call on? You've explained to me clearer now, and I can understand the communication and also the conversation. Does that mean that that is why some of the speakers, the motivational speakers or inspirational speakers, does that mean that that is why they start with stories?
Yes. Your lecture becomes good when you, but not story which cannot be connected to the topic. You must have some topic
Yeah,
connection to the
yeah,
topic, right?
yeah, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
And maybe there are different styles of discussions. One is like a discovery. I will keep asking you questions
yeah.
and think and give me some answer. That can be a discovery style of my discussions. And another one is called apprentice type. I will tell you this is first step, this is second step, this is third step, this is fourth step. Okay. Because I am telling you step by step. Assume that I am talking to a small child, or maybe I am talking to primary students. I cannot ask them, do you know what is communication? No. I should tell them one, two, three, four steps to be followed. That's why it is called apprentice. They are trainers. They are training at the beginning stage. I know that I am not talking to somebody who is at the lower level. So I use discovery sometimes. And now the another one is I am telling a story. The story must deduce some lessons. So it's called a deductive style. The story must end with telling this is the message from that, and that message is important. That is why I came and talked to you. Okay, so I will tell you one story in case if communication regarding, I will tell you some story. I am making a story now for you. I telephoned to one of my friend, and the telephone was picked up by some lady sound. He was a male, but the sound came female. And I said, yeah, I wanted to talk to Mr. John. When he is back at home, please tell him that Dr. TPS telephoned to you. And the phone was kept down. But 3 days, 4 days over, but no call came to me. So what am I thinking now? What am I thinking? I am thinking that maybe his wife or mother, somebody took up the phone, but mother and wife, it can be any one of them, but the sound is not very young sound. So I presume that it is mother or maybe his sister or wife or somebody told John that Dr. TPS called, but he didn't call me back. What a person is this? Actually, I want to do a favor to him. It is not for me to help him. I asked him to call back, but he didn't call. Got it? Am I doing a right thing or a wrong thing? Tell me, Dr. Queen.Elizabeth, from your experience, you tell me what is that I am supposed to do now? 3 days passed, no call came.
So you just assume that he's not interested in what you want to say to
That
him.
is what generally people will say. But I will not tell that because I have another chance of calling him again.
Okay.
I should call him second time. Why should I wait 3 days thinking about him? I am wasting a lot of time thinking, but that time I can save by just calling him once again. How much it cost me?
Mm.
My friend, if he is my friend, I wanted to help him. Calling him second time is another big help. No, how do I know what had happened to him in his house? He must have met with an accident. He must have lost communication. Somebody would not have told. All this is possible, or somebody would have forgotten. That is not his mistake. That's not my mistake, right? So this is called, actually I should not worry about why this man is not communicating to me. Actually, what am I doing? I am waiting for his communication. Why should I wait for somebody's communication? I can communicate. This is proactive communication. Don't waste your time thinking that this person will contact me. Keep contacts. I will, if I think that no, my sister Dr. Queen Elizabeth was not communicating to me, I will not even have a second thought. Immediately, either WhatsApp or Facebook, I will just ask you, please update what is happening at your end. Today, I must have sent at least to 10 people, update, update, update. I have nothing to do with them. I am not going to get anything. I made a story now. But this has not become a story because I'm only telling you something. Now I will make it as a story. How do I make it as a story? I called Mr. John, and Mr. John, why you did not call me back? Oh, nobody told me that you called. I said I was talking in the other day, and then I told your wife or mother, maybe some of one of them. Then he says, my wife and mother both are not at home. It is my servant maid who has taken the call. So who is at mistake? I mistook the lady voice happened to be either wife or mother. It is my imagination, but not the reality. Why should I imagine unnecessary things? Instead of that, I could just call. You understood? So making the story is my creativity. How much message you got from these small story which I made? What should be done, what should not be done? This is how stories have to be made. It is not that some story from some book I will read it and then tell you this happened in so and so time, which is not relevant in this world today. I must take some example which is relevant today, which you can connect to your daily life, so that you can correct yourself. And that message is called a deductive method. I am using a deductive method. And sometime I will show you a picture, and immediately I will tell you what does it convey to you. I am showing a picture here. This is one of my poetry. Yeah, better be blind. So what does it convey to you? So you can, from the picture, you can derive some imagination. So the picture communicates something which makes you a creative person. You understood? So what am I doing? I am allowing you to think aloud. Start describing. So when you describe like that, in my book I have used a lot of such pictures. These are all highly creative pictures. So what happens when you look at the picture? Oh, you understand. Let me think about it. And when you read the poem, you get some messages out of it, right? So it's essential. Sometime some pictures will tell you a real story that conveys you a lot, and that communication happens from the picture. See, there is a picture here. And the title is open heart surgery. So I am showing you the picture. So related to that, if I show a picture, I am describing it. So that's called a descriptive technology, descriptive methodology. So I am showing a picture along with my poetry. So I am communicating more. I am describing it in a different style. Okay. So these are all different styles. Academically, I teach all this in the classrooms.
That's why we need to call you back to come and teach us more on that. Yes. Yes. Um, just to add to what you've said, I mean, you've clarified the story part of it, that we can use it, but you have to be the story that will resonate with what you want to say.
Yeah.
And also to segment it, the story if it's possible as well. And also that we create a thinking. I mean, we create the audience thinking. I mean, like one of the teaching that what I heard was that when you ask questions, you engage the audience.
Think.
I mean, for example, to think.
That
I
is
mean,
called
like, for
discovery.
example,
That's called discovery style.
discovery self. Okay, that's question. So, like for example, you want to talk about love. I mean, you want to talk about forgiveness, and then you're asking, have you been disappointed before? Have you been hurt in your life before? And I know that everybody will answer because it resonates with them. They will say, oh yes. I mean, they can tell you 101 ways, type, 100 ways where they've been discouraged, and and that means they started showing interest in what you have to say.
Sure.
Because, that's the training that also went for that time. So it's very good. What about open dialogue? Because when I first met you, sir, you were talking about open dialogue. I need to. I want you to throw pictures on that open dialogue. What
See,
does it falls on? Is it falls on communication or conversation?
see, open dialogue when it comes to a group of people. I wanted to involve with a lot of people with a lot of different ideas where you should present, you should also listen to somebody else. Open dialogue is, oh, what is happening in the war field today between Russia and Ukraine? There may be a political affiliation for India to Russia. There is a tie-up between India and Russia for a long time. Now, when somebody comes and then tells this is the problem, no, I'm an Indian, I don't listen to you because India is always with Russia. Don't talk something against Russia, I will not agree. That cannot be an open dialogue. I am ready to listen to you in today's circumstances, today's scenario. Tell me what is this happening today. Now, assume somebody comes from London, Britain, and then gives a class here. A student of today cannot ask, you only ruled and spoiled India. You cannot tell him to this. Once upon a time, his grandfather or great grandfather's time, somebody have ruled India doesn't mean all British people are my enemies, right? So I am ready to have an open dialogue with anybody who is from your country. So I am not blind with old thoughts which are irrelevant today. I am ready to talk to any Christian just because I am a Hindu, I am a believer. I don't say that no, Christians I cannot talk to them, Muslims I cannot talk to them, Jews I don't talk to them, I don't like Buddhists. No, I'm an open dialogue with all these religious people. I can listen to them whatever they say. They have a view. I must agree that they have a view. I am a scientist. I will give a better example. I am a scientist. I am from science background. Okay, I am not part of any police department or I am not part of defense department. Does it mean that I am have a enmity to police, enmity to carpenter, enmity to somebody else who is doing some other job? Just because I am a teacher, I don't have enmity to a carpenter, right? Similarly, I am a Hindu, I don't have enmity to a Christian. So I am ready to listen to whatever he says because that is his expertise. A carpenter is required to build a house. A electrician is required to build a house. All of them work together to make my house. I have to talk to each other. Then because the wire has to go between the my wood, I will have to make a hole. The carpenter cannot say, no, the wood is mine, don't make hole. Where do I pass my electric wire? So everyone together makes this world. So I must understand yellow is a different color, green is a different color. Yellow color is not enemy with a different color. Every fruits are different colors, different tastes. That doesn't mean one fruit is good, one fruit is not good. Somebody likes this fruit, somebody else likes the other fruit. Somebody likes this color, somebody else likes the other color. Similarly, somebody has a religion, somebody has another religion. Why do you say that the religion is good, the other religion is not good? I am ready to openly listen to anybody. You tell this is your faith, that is my faith. This is your favorite color, that's my favorite color. Which drink is good? You decide what is your taste, I will decide what is my taste. So I will have an open mind. I am open to listen to anybody. But doesn't make me to change to yours. Telling that I am bad, my faith is bad. You cannot tell that no, this color is not good, change your shirt, put some other color. It is my liking, it's your liking. So open is totally open. I am ready to accept you as it is. But I will love to know what is your benefit, What is the credit? What is that you wanted to tell me? Don't tell that is good, the rest are bad. No. If somebody says pizza is very good, noodles is very good, I say no, I am not a person who loves both. You may love it, but I will have to have Indian style food. Even if I go to UK, I will love only Indian style food. Even bread is not my taste at all. We cook ourselves with rice. We have got our own food items which I prefer myself. That doesn't mean the rest is not good, but that is,
Yours is biryani, isn't it?
yeah, we make
Yours is
biryani, we
biryani.
make rice, we make dosha, idli, so many varieties of tiffins we have which we can make out of. You can look at DrTPS cooking. I have videos on cooking also, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So that I will prepare
how,
myself.
how to make a tea also, I make a video on how to make tea. The tea which you make can be entirely different. You can put it in a sachet and then put it inside in hot water and put milk. That tea is entirely different from what tea we make. We boil water, add powder, add sugar, boil it sufficiently enough, add little milk into that, then boil it sufficiently so that it looks so brownish. So, no, see, your concentration of tea is the taste of tea, which is entirely different at different levels. So, you are open. That doesn't mean when you come, I will make you to drink my tea. No, you take what you want. In my son's marriage reception, I had 25 varieties of tea. I want everybody to have different tastes, enjoy different tastes. So, variety is my life. I don't like a garden with one single flower full. I want variety of flowers. I don't want a picture to be drawn with only one blue color. With the different colors, when you draw picture, it looks beautiful, right? Correct. So, open mind is accepting different views, different directions, different scenario, different culture, different language, different food. Open to everything. Similarly, in communication, I am open. I am ready to listen to you. You tell me what you want. Disagreeing is an agreement. Agreeing to disagree is another agreement. Disagreeing to agree is another agreement. Agreeing to disagree is another agreement. So I don't agree with you, but yes, you are right. Because that is your right, this is my right. Correct? Everybody has got their own right. There is nothing called good and bad. Everything is good, everything is bad. Something is good for you, something is bad for me. So both are good. Both are good. For our own purposes, we consider this is good, this is bad.
Should be working with the UN.
Yeah. I don't know whether you have seen the movie called Seaspiracy.
Sister, no.
Yo, see that movie, Seaspiracy.
How do you spell that, please?
SEA.
STA.
You know the sea in the,
Oh, the C, yeah.
yeah.
The C press.
And you know conspiracy means what? Conspiracy theory, you know. So what they have done is they have added C plus spiracy. SPIRACY. Seaspiracy. That's on Netflix.
On Netflix, okay.
Yeah, and the another one is Cowspiracy. COW.
Conspiracy.
COW. I see all movies. That's my learning process. Cowspiracy. Okay.
COW.
SPIRACY. Cowspiracy. That's also on Netflix.
Okay.
Just now, because you mentioned United Nations, I'm saying if you listen to see these two documentaries, a great filmmaker exposed the politics in United Nations. They are also ruled by the powerful nations. They are not for common people. They have their own money business. They want to earn money. They want to get salary. They want to get fund. I'm not talking something against UN. I'm saying you must listen to these and then see how world is being cheated by most of the people. The Cowspiracy will tell you what is sustainable development, And Seaspiracy will tell you how much the whole world, only 30% is human being, 27% is only land, out of which 10 to 20% is only occupied land, 80 percentage is, or 79 percentage, almost equivalent to that, is water. So the most polluted place in the world is sea, which controls the climate in the world. So that marine life in the sea is being actually being spoiled by the people who are doing business of fishing. This is being exposed by a great filmmaker. Then you will see why UN is not making noise, why they are not addressing this. They openly say this is not our portfolio. That means they are not open. They are not open to listen to somebody, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because if that is the key word, if we really want to promote peace and make
Yes.
peace in the land, that open dialogue is the most important thing that they need to do. You know, to bring different kinds of people and also listen. Because sometimes you might bring them, but are you listening to what they have to say? You know, they might be there as a decoration.
Yeah.
You know, they might be there as a decoration, but not being listening to, or the agenda has already been made before the meeting. What they want to carry out has already been planned before the meeting.
That's
So
what they
even
do.
when you meet, it's just a meeting,
Yeah.
not really the time for us to willing to listen to others that are there.
Now
So
the global warming is a big issue the whole world is discussing. I don't know how
yeah,
many of you have seen the documentary which came in 2007, The Great Global Warming, SWINDLE, Swindle. Swindle means
I
false story.
ISW.
SWINDLE, Swindle.
Okay.
The Great Global Warming Swindle. That means the Great Global Warming wrong story, false story. That's a British television production. If you listen to if you look at that, you will understand how people are being fooled by great nation America by making a movie called, that the movie which created a lot of discussions on the global warming, right? So this is another movie which people have to see. So movie is one which communicates, and there is some openness, people are able to make these movies, correct?
Well, today has been a wonderful day with this. Your teaching, I've gained a lot. I mean, I've known the difference between communication, conversation, and also open dialogue, and also where we're being put into a darkness.
Yeah, you must see this movie, The Great Global Warming Swindle, after watching
Mm,
The Inconvenient Truth. The Inconvenient Truth is the movie made saying that global warming is there.
mm,
That is by the previous Vice President of America. And he shared Nobel Prize with an Indian on this movie. Al Gore. Al Gore is the person. Al Gore got a Nobel Prize, shared a Nobel Prize with one of the Indian, but that Indian name I don't want to pronounce because he has done a lot of
mm.
mischief after that.
Let us not spoil our day.
Yeah.
So let's leave that one aside. So thank you so much.
Thank you so
You
much.
really spent most of your time today teaching us on how to improve
Communication.
our communication, because I believe it's a key role, it's very key factor in any relationship, may it be the family or the marriage or any relationship at all. And I believe that this is also the key factors that even our leaders need to look into, especially when it talks of open dialogue, conversation, communication. I mean, the gone are those days where the only thing you want to listen to is for you to just go, like communication also. I look at it in two ways. You are being talked to, like the other person that is communicating is just pouring, just pouring. But then, is it reasonable for the listener? And are you ready to welcome the listener's opinion, or through the questions they will ask you, or the comment, or to comment on what you've said?
True.
So before, I mean, like, we are still like back. We are not laid back, but that is what life is all about in Africa, whereby we have to listen to our parents. You have no say when the elders are talking,
Even in
and I
India,
think
even in India, that is same.
that you have to listen.
Yeah.
But at least things are changing gradually, gradually.
Yes,
So,
yes.
so we just have to keep improving. Why is it changing? Because we are improving ourselves.
Now it becomes the other way. The parents have to listen to the children.
Exactly. But then there should be a balance there. There should be a balance because they still need to be guided. They still need to be guided. So there should be balance there. Yes, we want to empower them. Yes, we want to build their confidence, their self-esteem, and at the same time, we can still guide them. We can still show them the way, because sometimes they will think they know it all. But when it comes to, then when they get to a certain age, they will think, oh my God, what my parents are saying are true. They are true. So I pray that it will not be too late for them to realize that. Because yes, and we parents as well, we want to do something that the parents and the children are not making mistakes, but they have to make their own mistakes, because we learn from our mistakes. It's only the only thing we're just trying to do is that the mistakes we've made, we don't want them to repeat that mistake.
Correct. Sure.
So they can learn from our wisdom from that, and then they can still face the world and make their own mistakes, not to repeat the same mistakes that the parents have made. So that is why we need to guide them. So on this note, I want to say thank you so much. Are we communicating? Do we enjoy it? And I can say yes. Oh my God, I have to tell you all this. Right, some of our contributors are be engaged and free your mind. Meditate, practice gratitude. Okay, that's that one. Right, this one is very great, Dr. TPS. Right, amazing. Wow, this is beautiful and amazing. Keep it up. Thank you, sir. I heard you. I'm learning. So they are learning. I'm glad I'm not the only one. And then we have Dr. Stephen Cameron. And thank you so much for joining us today, Doctor. I would like you to comment or to ask questions. Thank you so much for your beautiful lecture you gave us yesterday, Dr. Stephen Cameron. Are you here with us? Oh, yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, our dear Professor Dr. Queen.Elizabeth Lucas, for this opportunity. And it was such an amazing session. I was listening, and I was listening, with care, and I was loving it. I was enjoying it. And Professor Doctor TPS, it was such an incredible, wisdom and knowledge that you've shared with us. And there's a question also which I want to ask, and kindly, answer briefly, because it's important also, that how we should communicate to the people, who are suffering with traumas, who are suffering with, some burden, or who are going through a tough time or hard time, so that they would be, they would talk to us also, and we would do their counseling in that. Kindly, please. Thank you.
I am a psychotherapist by myself. I am my MS psychotherapy and counseling. Okay. And now I have been posted as a professor of practices in a one of the largest set of university, which is called YYCI in India. So I have to go to different places, talk to people. I'm also the chief knowledge officer of Mental Care India. So lot of people who are in trauma, every day I get a lot of calls. The first thing what I keep telling, and we have already discussed, the first thing what I said is, I am with you. Before telling their problems, they must feel comfortable that this is the person to whom I can speak. And how does it happen in Indian scenario? I don't think somebody will come and tell you their problems unless they become confident that this person is going to help me. So how do they get into this knowledge of contacting? They use all my videos. The other day, one farmer was calling me and telling that, no, I am listening to your lecture almost every day, many times. And his wife was asking, what is that you are attached to so much about this man whom you never met, who doesn't know? So today, social media, there is a lot of uh, opportunity for each one of us to reach into somebody's heart. So there is nothing to tell somebody, no, you are in problem, listen to me. Actually, it is the other way. The person who is suffering should tell, you are the person who should help me, I know you. You understood? It is not that a mentor should hunt for somebody, a mentee, and come with your problems, I will help you. No. No doctor will go and then see people on the road and then say, let me check whether you have a fever or not. When fever is there, they will come to the doctor, right? So how do I get a lot of cases? I go to some school, give a talk, maybe 2 hours, 3 hours. When I speak to them, general problems in studies, they don't understand mathematics. My subject is mathematics, so I keep talking. This is how you should break down mathematics. You can easily learn that. End of the class, I'm sure somebody will send a message to me telling that, no, I want to learn maths from you. Actually, it is not maths which is the problem. The problem is they have some other problem wherein they are not able to concentrate. So they will come with a subject to learn and then they will tell, yeah, actually my problem is not this, this is my problem, because of which I am not able to concentrate in my studies. So generally the patients, the people who are in trouble, they will open up only when they are communicative, they are in a group, they can listen to you and all that. Otherwise, somebody who is already known to you should refer you. Otherwise, without connection, how do I get somebody and then say, yeah, you should listen to me, I am a great magician of who can solve all your problems? That never happens in mentoring. It never happens in mentoring, never happens in counseling. Mentoring is a bigger word, counseling is a smaller word. Counseling is very specific problem. I am counseling somebody to pass the examination, pass that stage of depression. Mentoring is I am taking care of his whole life pattern, how it has to proceed in his life. So I am a mentor. When somebody comes for a counseling, naturally they understand this man is where I can bend upon for all my problems. I can relay him and relay. It's not that we have to guide them, give them the power of guiding themselves. I am not supposed to drive them. I am supposed to teach them how to drive so that they drive themselves. If that confidence can be given, they can come out of their trauma. Otherwise, what happens is, I am there with you to help you out to come out of this problem. That doesn't mean when the next problem comes again, come back to me. So we give sufficient strength to them so that they will know how to escape from all the troubles tomorrow. And can be very, very worst cases, bad cases where it needs a lot of time counseling. Sometimes group counseling matters. The group counseling is in which they get a lot of confidence in you, because I am not talking to one individual, I am talking to people. When I conduct residential camps, sometimes a person with a problem, when they come to me, I will not even speak to him privately. I will not ask their parents, they are sending their children, I will not tell them that don't tell this person has come with a problem. Let them stay with me for 10 days. After 10 days they will come out. They may tell me the problem or they will forget their problem. They will come out of the trauma and then they will never think about it tomorrow onwards. So that's an indirect method of dealing with such cases. There have been a lot of difficult cases. They came to me, they stay with me for 10 days. The camp is for a general purpose, but there can be specific cases of different problems, but all of them will spend time. After that they will say that my problem is solved, so thank you for that. I never asked them what is the problem, I never told them what is the solution, but during 10 days of being with them, they realized, oh, this is the method which I am talking to them. Understood? So that's an indirect method. We have great epics in India. which is Ramayana and Mahabharata, in which there is lot of part in which is psychologically dealing with the problems and traumas and difficulties, depression, all these being part of the scriptures. So I am from a Western Master of Science in Psychotherapy and Counseling, and I am from a traditional knowledge from the Indian knowledge system. I club both of them and use it. So I have never found a problem in finding out. And sometimes what they speak is not the real truth. See, I'm an advocate. I'm also an LLB. So when somebody comes and tells you, they will not tell that they have done this crime. They will tell you a story wherein they had something to hook up and tell you. But it is your ability to find out what is the real trouble. So I use a lot of different techniques. It can be hypnotism, it can be astrology, identifying the astrological aspects of it, predicting what they are speaking is not correct can be one, and the dealer dealing with somebody else also can be that. Understand? Today I saw somebody against somebody writing a Facebook post, and then another person who knows both of us have posted and saying that this is what the story is written. I told you the first time when we met each other, I said I don't want to talk to this person because I know this is how they are going to be. And he asked, first time you have seen, how did you know that? I said, I know. Looking at the person, we will tell you this is a troublesome person or not. So if they come with a problem, probably I will not even entertain them because it's unsolvable problems. We are not the first people who can solve. Everybody is a very problem, right? Some problems are very chronic where we cannot even solve. So better not to waste your time. I want to open the door or the window, but not open the wall. No, if it is too hard, I don't go on pressing and wasting my time. I've got better things to do in my life.
Wow. Dr. Stephen Cameron.
It was amazing. It was amazing. I really learned a lot. Thank you so much, sir. God
Thank
bless
you.
you.
Thank you.
God bless you. Thank you so much. Wow, this will be the end of our program today. We really, really, we started very early because Reverend Akabio have to go and lecture in one of the institution in Nigeria. So that is why we have to start as early as 9:45 or something. But we did very well with two massive, massive professors.
Thank you so
I'm
much.
just I'm just here to drink and to learn, and thank you so much for your time today and what you've really. I mean, I can't believe, despite the fact that I try not to write too much, but I end up having 6 pages. Because the more I ask questions, the more I gain knowledge. And whenever I'm writing from my own simple understanding. That
See,
means you say
if you have
something.
not brought in the open dialogue, United Nation, I will not even cover that, right? Because of that, I have asked you to see some movies.
But we need to know. We
Yeah,
need
it's
to
correct.
know,
It's correct.
because another things I could have loved to raise, but if I raise it now, we will be here till tomorrow. And that is the assumption, the assumption part of it,
We
which
will
I
we'll do
believe
it.
that
We will do
I'm
it
still
next time.
gonna. Yes, because that is also a problem, because we tend to assume quickly what the other person is saying, and that will comes with misunderstanding,
True.
misinterpreting, and then we act on the wrong information, and then we are upset, we are so frustrated, and then we assume that this is what the person is saying or reacting, and then we label the person, even the person is innocent, but we label the person as guilty. So it's a big, big topic on its own, and even though you forgot about four more, three or so, maybe I might add that one to be another section, because you are not going to be tired of me. I've missed you
No,
for a long
no,
time.
never, never, no.
Because it's good to know. I want to know, and I know that majority also want to know. Many people will watch this video several times, and it will help them. And that's why we're posting it. We're using, like you said, we're using every social media to post this so that people link it, YouTube, every places. So I'm not looking at the audience as just my three of us here. I'm looking at it as the world. So you're speaking to the world outside the four corners of a building. So that is why we are recording it so that we can show it. You never know. It might be a statement you made that can save somebody's life somewhere or many people's lives somewhere. So which is very important. So thank you so much for your time, Dr. TPS. We really appreciate your time. We appreciate what you've really discussed with us. Oh, I think it's almost 1.5 hours, but it's worth it. It's worth waiting. It's worth listening. It's worth learning from your wealth of knowledge, wisdom, and experience. So thank you, and thank you so much. Okay,
Thank you.
so this will be the end of this. I don't want to do any other thing anymore because I still need to record it before I start traveling to London for my evening job. We have to keep going. I'm just enjoying this. I'm just enjoying it.
Recording stopped.
I have to stop that so that we can. I just want to keep going, keep going. Okay, so we are rounding up now. One of our great